I was recently asked to comment on cognitive and emotional empathy in borderline personality disorder. So, this is the topic of discussion of today's video. I'm Professor Shania Rathod, a psychiatrist in the United Kingdom. I post interesting videos on well-being weekly on my YouTube channel. So, please don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one. Empathy, or the ability to understand and share the emotion of others. It's a fundamental skill in human connection. It allows us to bond, comfort, cooperate, and care. But empathy is far from simple one-size-fits-all trait. It actually comes in several forms, each playing a distinct role in how we navigate the social world. The three key types of empathy are, firstly, cognitive empathy, or understanding what someone else is thinking or feeling. Secondly, emotional empathy, or sharing and resonating with another person's emotions. And third is motor empathy, or unconsciously mirroring others' physical expressions through body language and tone. In people with borderline personality disorder, empathy can function in a unique and often paradoxical way, enhancing certain aspects while impairing others, which contributes to the intense and sometimes chaotic nature of their relationships. So let's start with cognitive empathy, or understanding minds. Cognitive empathy involves perspective taking, or the ability to understand another person's mental state. For example, realizing your friend might be anxious before a job interview, even if you're not feeling anxious yourself. In individuals with borderline personality disorder, cognitive empathy is often impaired, which can lead to misreading intentions, assumptions of rejection, and conflict. Now, here are some key reasons why this might happen. First is emotional dysregulation. Individuals with borderline personality disorder often experience emotions so intensely that it becomes difficult to step outside themselves to understand someone else. As an example, a cancelled plan might not register as a scheduling conflict, but as deep rejection or proof of abandonment. Second is early trauma or insecure attachment. Many individuals with BPD have grown up in unpredictable environments, leading to mistrust and difficulty forming accurate mental models of others. As an example, a partner's silence might be read as anger or disinterest, even if it's due to something unrelated like fatigue. Thirdly, black and white thinking. Viewing people as either all good or all bad makes it difficult to hold balanced perspectives. As an example, one disagreement might convince someone with BPD that their friend has turned against them despite a long history of support. Fourth is hyper-awareness without accuracy. Individuals with BPD may be very attuned to changes in others' tone or mood but misinterpret the meaning. As an example, a furrowed brow might be read as judgment or anger when it is just really concentration. This disconnect often leads to overreactions to minor slights, emotional meltdowns, overperceived rejections, and misunderstandings that escalate quickly, and fearful pull-push dynamics, that is clinging and then pushing others away. Then we have emotional empathy, or feeling what others feel. Emotional empathy is the ability to feel others' emotions as if they were your own, like tearing up when a friend cries. Many people with borderline personality disorder actually have heightened emotional empathy, which sounds like a strength, but without emotional regulation, it becomes a double-edged sword. Here's why. Number one, blurred emotional boundaries. It becomes hard to separate others' emotions from their own. As an example, a friend's sadness can infect them with sadness even if they are having a good day themselves. Second is poor emotional regulation. Now, without tools to manage these absorbed feelings, emotional overload happens quickly. As an example, hearing about a loved one's bad day might send someone with BPD into a tailspin of anxiety or despair. Third is extreme rejection sensitivity. Now, subtle cues like a sigh or a delay in response can feel like abandonment or criticism. Now, take the example of someone. A slightly cold text message can trigger shame, self-blame, or rage. Fourth is trauma-based hypervigilance. Past trauma primes the nervous system to detect threats even where there are none. As an example, raised voices, even if not angry, can trigger panic or flashbacks. Next is emotional contagion. Without understanding, high emotional empathy without cognitive empathy leads to feeling deeply but misunderstanding the source. As an example, they may sense someone is sad and internalize it as their fault, leading to confusion and emotional chaos. In relationships, an individual might become emotionally entangled with others' moods, feel responsible for others' emotions, react strongly and unexpectedly to others' distress, and experience emotional burnout from caretaking roles. Then the third is motor empathy, or mirroring others without words. Now, motor empathy is the most subtle form of empathy. It's when we unconsciously mimic someone's body language, facial expressions, or tone. Now, this is driven by the mirror neuron system in our brains, which activates when we observe others' actions or feelings. It helps us feel into others' experiences even without words. While research is still evolving, this process may play a role in why some individuals with BPD are so quick to emotionally tune into others, even picking up on cues that neurotypical individuals might miss. Now, here's where things get particularly complex: the borderline empathy paradox. Many people with BPD appear to possess strong emotional empathy but poor cognitive empathy. Now, this means they feel others' emotions intensely, but they may misinterpret them or respond in ways that escalates conflict. Now, this is known as the borderline empathy paradox, the idea that someone can be extremely emotionally sensitive and attuned, but struggles to process and act on that sensitivity in constructive ways. An example is a person with BPD who might sense that a loved one is upset and instantly feel it too, but instead of calmly asking what's wrong, they might panic, blame themselves, or lash out, creating more tension. Now, this paradox is often linked to early trauma where emotional sensitivity evolved as a survival tool, but without the support to develop emotional regulation or trust. So, in summary, empathy is not a single ability but a spectrum of interwoven skills. In borderline personality disorder, this system can be both heightened and impaired, creating an emotional world that is rich, intense, but also confusing and overwhelming. Understanding these nuances can foster more compassion for those with borderline personality disorder and more insight into how they relate to others. By separating emotional empathy from cognitive empathy, and by supporting emotional regulation, we can help individuals with borderline personality disorder build safer, more stable connections. Empathy, when harnessed with awareness and balance, can become a bridge, not a barrier to healing. Please subscribe to my channel if you've enjoyed today's video. The more subscribers I have, the more YouTube gives me the ability to make more creative videos. Like it, share it, tell it. Tell it to all the people you know. And thank you for watching.